Hello and welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking through my top 10 favorites from Sezane. So these are tried and tested, the things that I have found to be kind of the best buys, and actually it was really hard to narrow it down to just 10 pieces. I've got more than 10 favorites. I mean, I feel like since the brand launched, was it a decade ago now, they have really expanded their collection. They've got such a solid range of core basics that they tend to rotate in seasonal colors, and also those really beautiful seasonal pieces that are part of each autumn, winter or spring summer collection. I mean, there's a lot to like. So we're gonna just dive right into it. Everything I share will be linked down in the description box below, along with all my sizing information, and I'm gonna show you some ways to style every single piece as well. And I thought we'd get the most obvious ones out of the way first. And so for that reason, I'm gonna start with probably what I think is one of the best sweaters to purchase from Sezane. It is the Leontine Sweater. Now, at this point, they do some multiple different colors. I personally also really like the navy with white stripe, in addition to the kind of oat color with the dark brown stripe as well. This is 100% cotton, except for the trim here, which is synthetic. That's just concealed by the placket here. I love that this is a Henley style jumper because it adds a point of difference that you don't often see in this particular type of sweater. Yes, it's a Breton, but it feels elevated for that reason. Has the lovely little tortoiseshell buttons, and as we kind of go on through this review, my top 10 list, what you'll see is that there is a real attention to detail when it comes to these very small, minute little elements, but it's what makes Sezane pieces so incredibly special. The other thing I like about this is it's also got the kind of bell curved sleeves. It gives you a lot of volume. I went with my usual size. I've got a small on, and you can see it's quite a boxy sort of a fit. In terms of how the cotton feels, I will say that it is not the softest cotton. It does have a little bit of texture to it, but it's not itchy at all. And yes, you can throw this in the washing machine and it comes out looking like new. I recommend washing it on a cold cycle. Then my other knitwear pick that I thought it would be criminal not to mention in this video is the Betty cardigan. This one is 100% merino wool, and I'm gonna say that in general, Sezane's cotton or merino knitwear pieces are absolute gems. They are really good quality. Their James sweater is an honourable mention. It is a really thick cable knit merino wool, but the Betty I love because it's more of a thinner weight. It's got a little bit of a drape to it. You can easily tuck it. It isn't too kind of thick, but it's very, very warm, and it comes in so many different colors. All of the different iterations have design details that make them feel special. I mean, for this one I love because it's the stripe and it's very graphic, high contrast. It kind of has that very typical Parisian edge. But then you have other colors which will have really feminine details, like perhaps they'll have a little bit of an embroidery, a bit of lace crochet embellishment, which is just really quite ladylike, very sweet. This has the pointed collar. It's really nice just worn open like a little jacket or cardigan. Alternatively, I personally really like wearing it either with the bottom two buttons undone, or alternatively, I often like to wear this tucked into something as well, just like it's a little sweater. So this is a great one because you've got so much versatility. Another honourable mention, actually, before we move on to the next category, is the Tetouan cardigan. Now, I recently purchased this and I am so happy with it. It's a 100% cotton knit. It's really, really soft. I sized up to a medium. I'll put some footage on screen though so you can see how it looks, but that one is equally gorgeous, and I really don't think you could go wrong with any of those sweaters. So those kind of my favorites from Sezane's knitwear collection. Then we're going to move into just general tops, and there really is one blouse that I think kind of rules them all in terms of having just this soft femininity. It is so intricate, it feels delicate, it also has kind of a Victoriana-esque vibe, is the Chloe shirt. And I think this was previously called the Chloe blouse, but they've renamed it to Chloe. And the thing that makes this special is the broderie detail around the neckline, which just drapes so beautifully when you are wearing it worn open. I personally tend to wear this tucked in, but when I kind of talk about those details, one of the little elements that this has that kind of makes this feel so much more elevated is that all of the buttons are silk covered in the exact same silk as the actual top itself. Now, I got this in my usual size 36, so it runs true to size for a relaxed fit. And I will say, I don't think I would put this one in the washing machine. This is one that I am doing dry cleaning only. I've had this one for quite a few years now, and you probably will have seen it feature in so many of my workwear videos. I think it's a great way to inject that element of personal style into your office wear looks in a very kind of easy, effortless way. My next Sezane favorite is the Marcelo top, which is a rib knit tank with a cutaway detail at the shoulder. I have this in the black and white stripe, but it comes in so many different seasonal colors. And I have to say, while I will always stand to the fact that I don't think you need to splurge on things like tanks and t-shirts, this is a really good option if you do want to spend a little bit more, if you do have that money in your budget that you want to put towards something like this. And I say this because I have worn this so many times. I put it in the wash every single time and it feels exactly the same way it did when I purchased it. It is such a nice soft cotton. It's ribbed, it's got stretch, it really kind of hugs the body in just that kind of snatched way. I really love it, and I find that it does fit true to size. I've got it in the size small, and it's just one of those things that I now could never be without. I have toyed with the idea of kind of getting it in another color, but I feel like one is probably enough given the price. I will link a couple of alternatives to this, which I think are really good value for money, but maybe they don't have quite as many color options, but they're gonna be under that $50 mark. But yeah, that's a really good basic. Now we'll kind of move on to bottoms, and because I could only include 10 items, I've narrowed this down to one piece, but I'm gonna have 2 honorable mentions because again, I just really couldn't help myself. So the trousers that I really wanted to highlight as being such a stellar purchase from Sezane are the Martin crop trousers. And I really wanted to feature these for a couple of reasons. One, I think the construction and the quality of them is really nice. And this is one of the evergreen styles for Sezane. So you're going to find it no matter what time of year it is. They'll always have it in different iterations. They do wool versions for winter. This particular pair I have here is in a gingham and it's a cotton linen blend. So this is a good kind of spring, summertime pant for me, and I was personally really drawn to the check. But if you like to go more classic, they have them in navy and black and grey. But kind of the main reason I wanted to mention these is because these are perfect if you're a petite girly. I actually have short legs despite my height, so for reference, I'm 172 centimeters tall, and these are the perfect cropped trouser on me. But quite often crop trousers are full length of me, so I was really thrilled by that. And I can actually leave the measurements for this down in the description box below in case that is really helpful for you, because that is something that Sezane don't seem to have on their website, is individual product measurements. And if you need any of the sizing info for any of this, like any actual measurements, let me know. I'm happy to share everything that I can. But the construction of them, everything, it feels really robust. They feel so well made, really quite sturdy, which I like and appreciate, especially in a trouser. The only thing I will say is that they are a rigid fabric, especially in this cotton linen. So they've got absolutely zero give and stretch to them. I find that because I'm more of a kind of pear shape, if we're talking about fruit, I am wider at my hips, which does mean that a lot of the time with trousers like this, they can sometimes fit a little bit narrow for me in that particular point, my body. So for me, these are a little bit snug there, but otherwise absolutely perfect. And I did stick with my usual size. I personally will always adhere to the sizing advice on the Sezane website. Once you've figured out your usual size, which is kind of part and parcel of that trial and error element, then I found it to be really kind of spot on. I'll typically rely on that. Honourable mention has to go to the sandy skirt, which I got in the ice blue. Now this is a really lovely satin slip skirt. I do think if you want to get a silk one, the Quince ones cannot be beat. If you live in the US, or if you're going to do mail forwarding like I do, then that's a really good option for a 100% natural fiber version, because the Sezane one is synthetic. However, it is crease resistant and it's quite a nice thick fabric, though if you are conscious of it kind of showing any lumps and bumps, it will do that because of the type of fabric. Anything that's got a little bit of a sheen to it typically will. But that's really beautiful. I did size down as per the sizing, so I'm usually a 36, AU8 or US 4, and I size down to the 34, AU6 or US 2. Then the other one I want to mention is the dealer skirt, which is this beautiful pleated skirt which has so much movement. I think that this is absolutely divine. It has a little tie on the side and you have a little bit of extra coverage where the skirt wraps around the body. Again, I did also size down in this one to the size 6. However, I do think probably I could have gone with the 8, and then if I wanted to wear it higher up on the waist, just tied it a little bit tighter using that side tie detail. But not a deal breaker for me. And I just think, again, really, really pretty. And this one is a synthetic. However, if you're unaware, pleated skirts need to be made from synthetic, otherwise the pleats will just fall out. So those are 2 honourable mentions in case you're wanting to look for something that's a little bit more feminine and not a trouser. Oh, and I also wanted to mention my pepper dress. Again, this is a little bit more than 10, but my pepper dress, I think this is brilliant. I'm going to pop some photos of it on screen. It comes in so many colours. They have increased the price since I bought mine, but I do think that if it's something you're going to be wearing all the time, it is worth it, because I've washed mine so many times. I wash it after every time I wear it because my kids always get me grubby, and it still feels and looks like it did the day that I bought it, and it's been washed at least 30 times, and I think that's a really good test for how it's going to kind of wear over time, especially because it's got elastane in it. Blazers. Okay, Sezane blazers in general are all beautiful. I have tried multiple styles. I've really just been looking for the right color for me, and I think I finally found it from their Editions collection. This is the Agnes Jacket, and it is a long line blazer, which was kind of the thing I really wanted. I like a blazer that hits below the hip because it works the best for my body shape, and this is a really nice iteration of it. This is an acetate blend, so I do just want you to keep that in mind, but has this beautiful sheen to the fabrication. It has the lovely spotted lining on the interior, which I don't know if you're going to be able to see, but again, it's just those little details. The buttons, you can see, are finished in the same fabric as the rest of the jacket, and it has a really nice fit. This one does fit true to size, and I would say that despite the fact that it's a relaxed silhouette, it is a slimmer fit through the sleeves. So I'm not going to be able to put a really chunky knit underneath this. For me, this is going to be something that I relegate more for special occasions or when I want to elevate a casual outfit, which I think it does really well, and that's down to the actual finish of the fabric and how it does kind of catch the light so nicely. But any of their blazers, the Michelle is really beautiful. I mean, I really don't think that you can go wrong. And then I think the iconic trench coat, their Scott trench, is an absolute winner. I get asked about this a lot actually, and I get asked to compare it to other trench coats I have, and my feedback is always the same. The advice I give is always the same. It's that if you want a really classic cut trench coat that is slim fitting, that hits around the knee, this is a really good option. The quality of the fabric is beautiful. It's water resistant, not waterproof, and that's pretty standard with trench coats. It is lined, and here hopefully you can see the lining, how it has the polka dots to it. The actual fabric that they've used, it is weighty, it has some grit to it, it's really robust and thick, and that's something I really like it. You can really see the weave of the twill, has the tortoiseshell buttons, then you've got the kind of buckle detail here, you've got the epaulettes as well, which is great because you can actually just fasten your bag in there if you're wearing a tote bag so it doesn't slip off your shoulder. And of course you've got the little tie at the waist. Now I would say if you are someone who is my height, I would recommend going up one size. So I got this in the Australian 10. Gosh, my arm is aching just from holding this. It's really quite heavy. So I would say if you are sort of my height, I highly recommend going up one size from your usual, just because it's going to give you a little bit more room across the chest and the shoulder area, which will allow you to layer knitwear underneath. And that personally is one of the things that I kind of want to do when I am wearing this jacket. It's worn so well though, and I mean, I really can't complain. Oh, and I forgot to mention, it does also have the detail of the button back vent here too, which you can open up if you wish, but so high quality. It is more of a pricey piece, but good outerwear tends to be anyway, and that is always something I think is worth spending a little bit of extra money on. Now Sezane of course also do really beautiful accessories, and there's quite a few of their bags that I've been eyeing up, but my personal favorite, the one that I use so much, is the Claude bag, which I have in the chocolate crocodile print. Now this is great because iron scratching, it is immaculate. It does not show up any scratches or anything like that because it is so incredibly durable. And as someone who's got 2 young kids, that is something I really look for in my bags, especially if I don't want to have to be too precious with them, because it means I know it's going to be a carefree option. If my kids grab it and drag it on the ground, I'm not going to be sitting there going, oh God, have I got a huge scuff on my bag? Because trust me, that has happened. It does have some wear to the clasp, which is normal when you've got any sort of hardware like this, some really minor scratches, but I will do some close-ups so hopefully you can get good sense of how those look. This is more of a saddle shaped bag, so kind of a little bit equestrian in that way, and it is one large compartment on the interior with a small slip pocket at the front and back, and then a zip up pocket for your essentials, black cotton twill lining. So while yes, it can be hard to see your things inside, it is really quite practical because it's not going to mark up in the way a lighter cotton twill lining would. It does also have the pocket at the back, and then the strap is adjustable. So right now I've got it on the shoulder length, which is a really good length that falls to just about the hip. But you can also wear it as a crossbody, 2 different lengths. It's just got these snaps here on the strap, which makes it very easy to adjust on the fly. Then we're gonna wrap things up with 2 pairs of shoes. And I thought for all the women out there who have wide feet like me, we're gonna start with the best option at Sezane for wide feet girlies, the Vicky loafers. And these kind of have this heritage sort of a vibe to them with the stitching, the way the stitching's been done here at the toe. And then they have this age chain across the vamp, which I really like. The leather on these is so supple, it is so soft, and these are cut wide. So when I got these, I was actually blown away by just how comfortable they were when I slipped my feet in. The leather has softened even more, so supple. They also have a grip sole, so they are slip resistant, which is really nice. And there's a low stacked heel as well at the back, but utterly beautiful. They do fit true to size. I do find that Sezane sizing is a little bit strange. So I'm a US 9 or a French 40 or a UK 7. So it really depends on what website you're on in terms of the sizing, but their French sizing is actually Italian sizing. So don't be fooled, because I was actually mistaken the very first time I ordered shoes from them, and it was quite a costly mistake because I ended up sending them back, and that was when they didn't offer free returns in Australia. So Vicky loafers cannot go wrong with these, and they come in 3 different colors, I think, a red and a white as well. Finally, let's end with the Paula babies, which I think is one of the most popular styles that they've got on their website. These always sell out in every single size, no matter what the color is. I went the classic black patent because I figured these would be the ones that I would wear the most. They have a really chunky heel, and I have to say I think the height of them is pretty reasonable, but the heft and the weight and the size of the heel makes them very comfortable to stand on all day. They have so many straps, so very adjustable so that you can customize the fit to best suit you. I will say that in terms of width of feet, these are better for regular or narrow-footed girls. I have wide feet, and I do find that at least at the very start, they pinched a bit across the foot, particularly on my left foot, which is the widest. However, I sized up a full size for these, so I got them in the US 10 when I would usually be a 9, and I found that that was a much better option for me because I did have a bit more room across the foot. So that's a really good tip if you had wide feet. If you have narrow feet or regular, you may just want to stick with your usual size, as you're probably not going to have these same problems. And there you have it. That wraps up my top 10 favorites from Sezane, with a couple of honorable mentions included in there as well. I want to know, what are your favorite pieces? Is there anything that I need to try that I maybe haven't? Please drop them down in the comments below. And as I said, if you've got any questions about anything I shared, even just want measurements, drop me a line and I will do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you so much for watching. I'm always eternally grateful that you took some time out of your day to spend it with me. If you are new here, you love Sezane, you love kind of brand reviews, learning how to restyle things in your wardrobe, I would love to have you back. I post new videos every week, and I will see you next time with a brand new one. Thanks again for watching, and see you soon. Bye.